back to the Panic Room, everyone, and to my GarBingo video. So guys, you guys know by now that I am a host for GarBaugust, and I am also probably one of the more inexperienced hosts. But I did want to try my hand at this GarBingo card. Now, I probably am not going to get bingo, but I thought we could go through some of the prompts and just see what I can actually fill out. So let's get started. So if you guys don't know, Criminale, our creator and primary host for this event, actually did create a GarBingo card. And I do hope that some of you who are participating in GarBaugust will do a GarBingo card as well. And please, if you are, let me know down below, some of the books that you have read to fill out some of these prompts. I would love to know. I really am approaching a lot of GarBaugust as a learning experience to kind of learn more about a genre, learn more about trashy books in general that I'm not familiar with. So please let me know down below if you are doing a GarBingo card and how far you got. All right, so one of the first ones that I see is a book published under a pseudonym. I've actually learned a lot about this whole thing. I had no idea, I saw just the other day that Anne Rice wrote a romance series under a pseudonym. I had no idea. No idea. And I really think that the fact that I'm so ignorant about this comes from that I don't do a whole lot of research. I'm just like, cool, I want to read that book. Squirrel. So yeah, I learned a lot about pseudonyms and shit. I had no idea. All right, a book with nudity on the cover. Yeah. What was that one? We actually mentioned it in an episode of the Madman's Library, and I want to say Ollie read it, or it was on his TBR for GarBaugust. It was Naked Came the Stranger, I think. I'll put a picture of it here. There's an ass on it. So yeah, that's the book that pops into mind when I think of nudity on the cover. But yeah, there's a lot of that. A lot of shirtless dudes in loincloths and lots of boobs. So many boobs. But yeah, so I've learned a lot about that. Not really, but I've seen a lot of it. Let's see, a novelization. Yeah, tons of those. I can definitely see why those are considered trash, novelizations of movies and things like that. And the person who jumps to mind while thinking about novelizations, and if you are interested in talking about these, you should definitely check his channel out, is It Came From the Page. He has a lot of those. On almost every time he does a haul, it seems like there's one of those in there. Not every time, but he's experienced in that. Let's put it that way. So yeah, if you're interested in novelizations, you should check his channel out. All right, a Harlequin, Mills, and Boon romance. I had heard of a Harlequin romance. I'd never heard of Mills and Boon. But yeah, I didn't know anything about that. Really, I've just started learning a little bit more about romance, but that's because of my friend Brandy over on Romance BookTube. She's really knowledgeable about that. So I actually had a little bit of a leg up when it came to that question. I still haven't gotten bingo. I still haven't marked a damn thing. But we're having fun going through these prompts, yeah? A shifter romance. Okay, I kind of have this one, so I'm going to mark it. By now, you guys have seen my video that I released in week 1, which was the unicorn sex book. Well, unicorn/dinosaur sex book. Yeah, I'm going to call that a shifter romance. I know it's not human into animal, but it's animal sex, so I'm going to mark it. So we have one for GarBaugust bingo. A book you're ashamed to read in public. I don't really have a book that I would be ashamed to read in public. I kind of addressed this with the GarBaugust book tag. I don't care. If you guys have been around for any length of time, you know that I need that on a t-shirt. I don't care. I don't care if you don't like what I'm reading. I'm not forcing you to read it, so leave me alone. That's the way I look at that. Let's see. A dirty book. Week 1. My very first GarBaugust book review. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Dirty does not even begin to describe it, okay? Actually, both my videos for week 1, they're filthy. They're filthy. Oh, just go watch it. Don't be eating. Don't have any children in the room. A book by a celebrity. Okay, I didn't read any of them, but oh my gosh, have I seen them everywhere. And yeah, a lot of them do look really trashy. I can kind of see why, because it does kind of, sort of, in a lot of ways, come off as just a absolute petty cash grab by people. You're already famous. Did you really have to write a book? But I mean, who knows? Some of them live pretty interesting lives. Maybe there are some good ones out there. If you've read one, comment down below, tell me. I'm put in mind, I love the Golden Girls. I'm put in mind where there's an episode where Dorothy is talking, I want to say it's a cousin that is coming over from Russia, and she's taking her through this bookstore, and she's giving her like all of these books about, I don't know, I think it's like democracy or whatever. And the last book she gives her, I think, is Vanna White's autobiography. And her cousin's like, why should I read this? And Dorothy just goes, because it's a damn fine book. And I feel like, hey, maybe there are some of them celebrity books out there that are damn fine books. So, but let me know if you've read a celebrity book and if it was good or if it was truly trash. All right, a men's adventure book. This put me in mind, I was like, is this like Tarzan? Because I'm envisioning like knights in shining armor or like cowboys or like shirtless dudes swinging through the jungle, stuff like that. I have not read any. I have not. The closest I have come to Tarzan is the Disney movie. So, but if you are into, I guess, what we're calling men's adventure books, I highly recommend Michael K. Vaughan. He's incredibly smart in a lot of ways, but especially with this one, he reads a lot of stuff like that. So definitely check out Michael K. Vaughan if you're into like those men's adventure book kind of deals. If I'm even defining them correctly. You should check out Michael anyway though, he's a damn fine channel. Alright, a book that cashes in on a moral panic. I have no idea where to even begin. I'm assuming this means like books about things like the Satanic Panic, stuff like that. You know, and to a point, I can definitely see where that would be trash, for sure. But I think a large part of that is going to be in how they're written. Because, you know, there are some books that, you know, might like, cash in or whatever, but can still be educational. Maybe I'm just trying to pull these things out of the fire and there's no redeemable qualities. But I can see where, like, if you wanted to read about a topic, reading about a person's opinion on it might be educational. But in the same token, it might be trash, depending on how they put forth their ideas. So, yeah, that one's an interesting one. I don't feel like I've seen a ton of books in that vein from other videos. So, if you know one, or you know, like, a famous one that I obviously don't, let me know down below. So, let's see. We've gotten one so far, guys. Let's see. A book from a series with at least 100 entries. I have no idea. I know Criminology talks about a book series that has a ton, but Criminology is your go-to for these trash books. I didn't even know there was like a series of books that had that many entries. So again, learning experience. It's a learning experience for me, people. A killer animal book. Okay, tons of these. I've seen so many of them. The one that jumps to my mind is the one, I want to say it came from the page, had it. It was like a big alligator. I actually think maybe Josh over at Coffee Cats and King had that too. I might be wrong about that. But it was like a big alligator on the front. I think it might have been called Gator, perhaps. Yeah, a killer animal book. I've seen the alligator thing, you know, Jaws, all of that, you know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure like killer animal books have been everywhere. I have not read one that I would consider trash, but yeah, I kind of go back to what I was saying with the moral panic prompt. I don't think that it has to be trash if there's a killer animal, but I think you got to be real careful as to how you present that story because it can dive off the cliff into trash real easy. A book with a cigarette ad. No, I've never seen this. I didn't even know that was a thing, but I mean, it makes sense because, you know, there was tons of those things back in the day. You know, they weren't like regulated, I guess, like they are now, but you know, the whole idea around smoking and all of that, I think, has really changed in the public eye. But that is funny. That is funny. Talk about finding something interesting in an old book would be a cigarette ad. So yeah, I have never read a book that had a cigarette ad. I think the only ads that I recall from anything I've ever read were like for comic books in the back or something. Okay, and the last one is a V.C. Andrews book. And yeah, I actually have read a V.C. Andrews book. It was really thick. I'll pop a picture of it here because I do not remember the name of it. And I remember thinking that when I read it, I was very similar in age to some of the girls. A little bit older. And I thought it was okay. I did. I thought it was okay. The book I read had 4 girls' stories, and I want to say that it must have been a compilation because I think you could buy the girls' stories individually. It just so happens the one that I got had all 4 of them because it was a thick book. And, you know, it dealt with a lot of really serious shit. Real serious shit like abuse, divorce, things like that. And I remember I thought it was good. Now, is that because I was young and I was seeing it through similar eyes like those of the characters in the book? Who knows? I've learned a lot more about V.C. Andrews this month. So from what I understand, you know, people enjoy her books for what they are, but I do think they're largely considered trash. You know, maybe that's one of those books that nostalgia and age played a big part in for me. So, but yeah, it's the only other one that I can mark on my bingo card. So we got 2. We had 2 people, but you know what? That's okay, because again, this has been a wonderful learning experience for me. I've absolutely loved being a host, and I really hope that you guys are enjoying Garb August. You know, I think Ollie did a fantastic job, as have all the other hosts. You know, I think everyone can learn a little something from this. You know, maybe some of us more so than others. And thank you for hanging out in the panic room for another trashy Garb August video. Please hit like, hit subscribe. It would really help me out. And until next time, bye for now.